Room 25 by No Name. No Name got her start doing poetry in a creative writing class in high school, and then competing in slam poetry in 2010. The poetry evolved into her doing open mics and freestyling with local artists at the time, Chance the Rapper, Saba, Mick Jenkins, and others. Room 25 serves as her second album. How do we feel about it? Here's our honest review of Room 25 by No Name.
Room 25 by No Name.
Yes, sir.
This kind of came about just because I saw a lot of people putting this in their top 10 albums of the year, and we hadn't did it. So I was just like, why not? Right?
Yeah.
How you feel about this album artwork?
I'm torn, man, because I feel like it's a collection of thoughts and everything, but I don't like the artwork.
Do you understand what the Room 25 album meant?
Basically, after she turned 25, everything started happening in her life, or something meaningful happening at the age 25, and that was like the jump start of everything.
She kind of moved and everything. Yeah. So I guess that is what's being told in this album.
I just don't like the artwork. I mean, I think it's a cool display of like your thoughts or whatever was happening in her life at that moment. I'm just not a big fan of how it was drawn. I like the telephone artwork, her previous album, a lot, because it just kind of looked like the oil pastel type of painting, but this one I wasn't a big fan of the artwork.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. I know some people are gonna be like, y'all just don't understand it, but like, yeah, just because you don't understand it don't mean that it's nice. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm pretty sure it has meaning to it. I didn't take the time to sit there and figure it out, but it's okay. The flow of this project, man, like you said, it's just a collection of ideas and just her opening up a lot more than she's opened up in the past, and expressing how she felt, and she really comes off as a poetry person rapping. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I initially thought it was, because I was just like, man, it's like kind of annoying listening to a rap sometimes because of the monotone tone.
Okay,
but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's like you said, a collection of thoughts, but like I love how it's carried out through like just this whole collection of tracks that just really got to be in the vibe for, like you just got to collect your thoughts with. And I just kind of like how each song, each track is just kind of carried with a different type of mood and everything like that, so it translates with the flow really well with the album.
Highlights. Self. When Self came on, for one, I wish it was longer. But like when it first came on, I was just like, okay, man, I'm feeling this vibe, the beat, and I just like the tone, and I just like the complexity in the song. And I guess she was kind of expressing the fact that people thought just because she has a vagina that she couldn't rap. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was dope in the way she kind of went about it, and how she's just saying who this is for and what it's for and what it's gonna make you do. And I really like the way she handled that. The Prayer song featuring Adam West, the complexity in that song is really deep. I like how she addressed the whole idea, the whole Alton Sterling, being killed in front of us, and then just the whole idea of how the cop felt about it, and how he felt his dick was getting bigger, and kind of like just talking about how America disregards black people in general. Window was really deep, and just like the whole idea of finding yourself as opposed to just like watching life go by and just sitting reminiscing, and it's really deep. Don't Forget About Me was also another joint that's really crazy. Aces featuring Smino and Saba, that joint is dope.
Fire.
Part of Me featuring Phoenix, like I don't know who Phoenix is, but Phoenix, Felix, whoever he is, dude is fucking dope. And No Name was another. Well, With You was actually really good as well, and No Name was really dope too. I really like the way that she plays with the reason why she came up with the name No Name.
I really love how it opened up with Self. I wish it could have been longer, but like just when it went into blaxploitation, I really like that because just how the beat kind of felt, I don't know, somewhat jazzy to me, and she was just going in. And Window was another great song. I love how it sounds. Like when it comes to the production on this album, I really like it because they feel like some songs feel like they're short, but they impact you really, really well with how it sounds and everything. I really like Montego Bay with Raven Lene. I thought that was a real cool sounding song.
Montego Bay,
I'm sorry. And Ace and Part of Me was just fire. And With You and No Name, I like how it went out. But I just really like what I really think is the highlight of this project is just how jazzy and like open spoken word that all the song tracks feel, because it's just a dope vibe. It's just a really, really dope vibe.
Low lights, man. I really only have like one real thing to nitpick at. Well, for one, blaxploitation, I didn't like the beat at all.
Really?
I did not like that beat at all. But I like what she's rapping about.
Okay.
And like it's really deep, it's really complex. But my main gripe is the engineer that engineered this. I wish she kind of put her voice a little bit, because just the way she raps, I really wish he would put her voice just a little bit more above the beat. Yeah. Like I felt like it's sitting too much into the beat, and then it just was bothering me. Like at times, like the first 2 times I heard it, there were times where I just didn't hear what she said. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know if it was the system in the car, but I listen to everything in the car, and normally it's usually fine, and normally I don't have an issue with hearing people. Like at times it kind of came off as like the female Chance the Rapper with kind of how the tone he raps in. Right. But I felt like just the tone of her voice, because Chance has a little bit of raspiness to it, which kind of stands out, and her voice, it doesn't stand out amongst the beats. So I wish the engineer would have sat her voice a little higher. I know that's a little more technical, but it was bothering my listening experience of this project.
It kind of goes into what I was going to say, because that's my only really gripe about it. It's just that I don't know if that's on purpose, if she does that on purpose. But if it is, that's the only thing I really don't like, because it's just like you really got to pay attention to what she's saying and everything like that. And it can come off as distracting because the instrumentation and everything is so beautiful and great, but it can kind of overshadow what she's talking about, like cloud everything. So that's my only real gripe with it. But once you put it all together, it kind of makes sense in a way, because you think about poetry sessions and everything like that, and it kind of has that vibe where they kind of sound low, but at the same time the vibe is carried through the whole overall package.
Final thoughts, man. Look, I was very impressed with this joint. And it wasn't really until I actually broke out the lyrics and read along with the album and listened to it.
Yeah, facts.
Because the first couple times it didn't do it justice. Like I was really on some like, it's okay. But when I actually sat there and read along with it, like, man, this shit is deep. Mm-hmm. And if you actually are a person that has the time to sit there and break down and unpack this project, you'll really like it a lot. Like, it's really deep. I think a lot of women will probably relate to it a lot more, than men. But I felt like men could relate to it in some aspects. But if you have the time to unpack this, you will like this project. If you don't, I think you'll feel how I was initially about to go into the review. Yeah. Like if I would have reviewed this on Thursday when I sent you the message, like, yo, what's the big deal? Like, why does everybody make such a big deal of No Name? Yeah. Like, her poetry is dope for sure, but on the beat, I'm not really impressed. But when you unpack it and sit there and think about a lot of these concepts, it's really deep. And I think a lot of people will appreciate it if you take the time to pull out the lyric sheet, or just sit there and just like soak in the poetry for that 35 minutes. Just take a deep dive, and you got to be able to block everything else out and listen to it.
Yeah, most definitely, because the 3rd or 4th time I listened to it, I had to just sit down, dark room, just chill and just listen to the music. I mean, sometimes it helps to do that. When you listen to music, just isolate yourself and just listen to what the music is saying, follow the lyrics if you can, and you really would appreciate it. And I took the time to go back and listen to Telephone, and it does sound like a natural progression for her. Like, she's opening up a lot more. And like before I was like, man, is this better than Telephone? But I don't really think it's like better, but it complements it very well. It's a natural progression of her artistry, and I appreciate that a lot.
Final grade, man. I get this joint a check. You should definitely check this out. I love all the features on here. Yeah. Like, she did a really good job with the features. Yeah. Phoenix is definitely a standout on this joint. Saba and Smino, that joint is crazy. It's so deep. Raven Lene, what she did, that was really dope. Yeah. Adam Ness, that was fire. Like, she did a really good job of picking the perfect people to be on this joint with her. I really like I said, y'all gotta have time to break this down. Because if you don't, you're just going to be like, yo, what the fuck am I listening to? Like, real talk. That's really what it's going to turn into.
Yeah, man, I give it a check, man. I think that it deserves the time to be appreciated. Like, if you're just really just trying to catch music, like, it's on the radio or anything, your attention span is not really that like, you just not gonna pay attention, it's not for you. But if it's just something that you're actually gonna delve into and actually appreciate the things that she is saying, and it's not, you don't gotta get all overall deep with it or nothing, but just the style of the music, I think it's just breath of fresh air. And I really love the whole vibe, like Saba and Smino and No Name is bringing, because it's just like something different that we're used to now with mainstream rap and everything like that. I really appreciate it.